I'm so excited to finally open up some of these packages. Hi everyone, my name's Brenna and this is the channel where I talk about books and reading and stuff that I've been into recently. And today's video is all about the books that I have bought this year. The truth of the matter is that I don't plan to buy any more books this year because my shelves are full and I need to get reading to clear some of them out. But I did make some purchases this year. I'd like to share them with you. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the book haul that I am about to present to you. So first up, the books that I have bought already and read already that you probably have seen already in some of my other videos. And these books I got off Pango. Most of these books I got off Pango Books. So if you haven't checked out Pango Books yet, I highly recommend it because there's some awesome books up there, including some of mine that I'm giving away. So please go check that out in the link in the description. So first, on Pango, I had to get a copy of Iron Widow because the sequel should be coming out this year. Let's all cross our fingers and hope and pray to the mecha gods that they will publish Jiren J. Zhao's book, the sequel to Iron Widow, because this book is amazing. And this is a book that I bought for my shelf. Yes, I have already read it, but I bought it for my shelf because I intend to reread it and include it in a part of the series that goes on my shelf, and I want it to look all nice and neat and cool. I guess I should talk a little bit about it. Have I mentioned the plot of Iron Widow before? I can't remember. If I haven't talked about this book, especially the plot, let me tell you now. This book is about a world set in the future where the human race is basically fighting an alien race that is supposedly invading their world, their land. And the people in this futuristic world have these soldiers who go fight them with like these mechas, right? Like these giant robot dragons, basically. And they're different creatures, right? There's like the tiger and the dragon and the bird and whatever. They call them different things, but basically they're these big robot creatures that the pilots fight in and use their chi to make the robot mecha like battle. Each robot mecha includes 2 pilot seats. The first is male and the second is a female seat. And the male seat is supposed to be higher than the female seat because the male seat is supposed to be the dominant one driving the mecha. And in this world, women have a lower status. And so these higher male pilots take concubines, and basically these women into the mecha with them. They use up all of their energy and basically sacrifice these women in order to fight this battle against these aliens. In this book, the main character, her goal at the start of this is to get revenge on the pilot who killed her sister. Her sister became a concubine for the army, and the pilot that basically used her up and killed her in his fight, and he doesn't even care. And so her goal is to go be a hidden or like secret concubine to this pilot so that she can kill him. And something happens that is completely unexpected that nobody realizes or thinks can even actually happen when she goes into the pilot suit or the mecha with this other pilot. And it's crazy. It's weird. I had no expectations going into this book, and I couldn't stop reading for like 3 days. I could not stop reading. I couldn't put this book down. It's amazing. I love this book so much, and I'm so freaking excited for the second book. It needs to be out right now. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. Continue with the book haul. I also got Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. I did a review of this book in one of my previous wrap-up videos. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm really glad I have a hard copy of it because the book is so pretty and it's nice to display on my shelf as like a little trophy of a book that I read this year. And I really enjoyed this book. It was a book that was recommended to me because of gaming, and they were right. I enjoyed it because of the gaming, but also because of the story. The next book that I bought, and I've already read, is Book Lovers. Again, I did a review of this in my April wrap-up video. I love this book. It's so sweet and cute, and I'm a huge fan of Emily Henry now, and I think that means that I have to get more of her books and read more of her books so that way I can have Emily Henry books on my shelf and they look all nice and pretty together. I really enjoyed it. It's definitely a future project for when I have space on my bookshelf. Okay, the other book that again I already read was Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Already did a review about it. I bought it on a whim. This is one of the ones I bought on a whim. I bought both of these on a whim because I was like, people say they're awesome and I need to read an awesome book. And so I picked up Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and it did not disappoint. The hype was worth it. So if you've been questioning whether or not you should read this, the answer is yes, you should read this. Okay, first, before we open packages, I have to be real with you. I did go to the library bookstore and I did buy some books there. They're mostly plays and I can mostly put them on my shelf in school. So, you know, it's really not for me. It's not for this bookshelf. It's really for my school bookshelf. So clearly I get a pass. But anyway, I did buy a copy of Noises Off. You can't really see the cover of it because it's one of those old books, plays. Play in 3 acts. I think it's supposed to be like a serio comedy or dramedy where it's supposed to be kind of funny, but then like there's a serious undertone of things happening. I remember a production of it happening when I was in college, and for the life of me, I cannot remember the plot. One of those things that happened in college that I just completely forgot. So I'm gonna reread it and I'm gonna see if I can remember what it's about and just maybe give a review of it. So the other plays that I bought from the library bookstore, this one's a collection of plays called Technical Difficulties, plays for online theater. There's a whole bunch in here that are like short little plays for when you can't have a real full theatrical production. And ever since COVID, I didn't teach theater during COVID, but ever since COVID, I've been thinking of ways of like, what if it happens again? What if we're sent home again? What if we have to do online school again? And I'm trying to think of ways of how I can still teach theater and do productions when we have a pandemic. So I'm just kind of like keeping this in my back pocket. Maybe it never happens again. Maybe it never happens again, okay? But just in case it does, I've got a plan, which is why I have the second book or second play that I have right here. Sorry, wrong number. And then this comes with a second play by Lucille Fletcher in this copy. Sorry, Wrong Number is a really short little play about a woman who is trying to call her husband. She's a little neurotic, so no one really kind of like believes her when she's like freaking out. But she's trying to call her husband and she overhears a murder plot. In like the lines get crossed and she overhears these 2 guys talking about planning a murder, killing this woman, and she like starts freaking out and she's calling the cops. She's trying to call her husband. She's trying to call all these places and no one really believes her because she's kind of neurotic and she doesn't get out of her house. Like she literally just stuck in bed all the time. Super spooky, fun little play that I always read with my 7th graders. They loved it. And I would love to do it with my theater classes because it's so much fun. Again, another play that's very easily done through Zoom, you know, like not on a stage. So if I need it, it's there. But also I'd like to try it with my theater students. And I'd like to see this other play called The Hitchhiker by Lucille Fletcher because her writing is very much like dramatic irony, you know, like you kind of have in the back of your mind of what's gonna happen, but the characters don't. And so it makes it really interesting and suspenseful. It says that The Hitchhiker is a ghost thriller, so kind of spooky, maybe for Halloween. We'll see. I have it on my school shelf now though. And the other copy that I have is The Miracle Worker. This is the story of Helen Keller and her teacher and how she was able to teach Helen Keller how to communicate when she's deaf and blind. Super fascinating story, amazing play, and I'm really glad I have a copy of it now for my school shelf. Now let's open some packages. So excited. Okay, I did technically open some of these packages already because my husband and family got them for me for Mother's Day, which is so sweet. So nice that they got me books from my wish list, which is so cute. The first one is Flight, Volume 1. If you've never read this series, it's a collection of like graphic short stories. Like graphic artists submit their little like short comics to these like series of volumes. Kazu Kibushi, he writes the Amlet or the Explorer series, and then he also edits this series. He like pulls all the artists together, and then he usually has a story in there as well. I fell in love with these in middle school, and I had like 3 or 4 of the first like of the series, the first 4, and for some reason I got rid of them or I lost them, and it's like painful to me. So like the fact that I'm able to have this again, just like it repairs a little tiny piece of my heart to know that it's on my shelf again. I love this series, it's so good. Plus the covers, all of the covers seem to like tell their own little story too, so cannot wait to get the rest in the series. The other one that I got for Mother's Day is a series that I absolutely love, and I'm so excited to have all 3 books on my shelf because I'm definitely gonna reread these the second I can. Maybe this summer I'll reread them because I'm like obsessed. I'm obsessed with this series, and it is the Scythe series by Neal Shusterman. I'm obsessed. This is one of our summer reading texts. I think I read it 2 years ago, and I've literally not stopped talking about it since. It's my favorite series. I was in a huge book slump when I read my first Neal Shusterman book, and like an antidote to poison, I was suddenly a reader again, thanks to Neal Shusterman, especially to this series. I could not stop reading this entire series. I want to read it again. I want to read it like 3 more times. I want to read it right now. It's so good. If you've never heard of this series, go out right now and buy the first one. You don't even have to read the rest of the series. You don't even have to read the rest of the series. You just need to read the first one because it's so good and the world is like so interesting. Okay, this is about 2 young people who live in a world where no one dies. Everyone lives forever. For some distant part of the past, AI took over the world, but instead of making it horrible and making humans like their own personal slaves, it became this benevolent, godlike being and just ran the world and made it perfect. And so nobody dies, nobody gets any diseases, nobody grows old, there's no poverty, there's no hunger, like everybody just lives their perfect life all the time and everything's perfect and fine. And like I'm saying this, you know that there's gonna be a twist. There's a problem with population control because no one dies. They have to like come up with a way to basically make people die, right? And sort of like the lottery system, there's this group that's not, it's not overseen by the benevolent AI that oversees everything. This is the only part of humanity that it doesn't touch, and it's called the Scythedom. And the Scythedom is basically a group of human beings who are given the power to kill people. They're given the power to decide who dies. And they have like a set of rules, obviously, that they have to abide by, right? They're not supposed to like just randomly kill people. I mean, I guess they are supposed to randomly kill people, but they're like, there's like a code of ethics, so to speak. And you have like these 2 factions within the Scythedom that take the code of ethics like interpretively. They interpret the code of ethics differently. And 2 characters in this book become apprentices to a scythe who's like the old guard scythe. He adheres to the ethics like very strictly, and he like has a very big respect for death. And so these 2 characters become an apprentice to him, and they go through this training in the first book. I don't want to give too much away, but this is it. This is the series. You have to read it. You have to read the series. You have to, because it's so good and I cannot stop thinking about it ever. And I need to reread it right now. Even just talking about it, I'm just like, man, I want to reread this series so bad. I'm so glad it's on my shelf. I'm so excited. Now let's really open some packages. Packages that have been sitting underneath my desk for weeks, maybe a couple of months, and I'm so excited. I'm ready to open them. This first one is probably going to be because one of the things that I was trying to do is I was trying to buy the series off Pango of books that I want to have on my shelf. I was going to get the Scythe series, and the first one got bought, and then the last one got bought, and before I could buy the rest of the series, and then I accidentally just bought a hard copy of the second book. So I have Thunderhead as a hard copy, as like a hard cover. And these are all paperback, which is fine. Like, I'm fine with having a paperback set. But I'm also wondering if I would rather have the hardcovers and not the paperbacks. And this is the struggle of a book person. So I don't know what I'm gonna do, because I would really like to have the other hardcovers, but I have the whole set right here. Why do I need a whole set of hardcovers? So I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this book yet, but it's nice to have as a hardcover. It's nice to see and look at it and hold it. Not mad that I bought it twice, okay? Or that it was bought twice on my behalf. This has got to be another book that I bought because I wanted to have a copy for my shelf. It has to be. I can't remember what I bought though. Oh my gosh, that's so cute and sweet. You have like a little bee sticker on it. That's so nice. Oh, I know what this is. Okay, so I sold my little tiny trade paperback copy of Native Tongue, and so I rebought a copy of it because I still want to read it. Native Tongue by Susan Hayden Elgin is a book that has a imaginary language in it. When I was in college, I studied imaginary languages like Elvish, Klingon. I didn't study Dothraki, but I studied like languages in literature, right? Like, and how authors create their own language, and how even there's like a group of people, there's like a community of people that have created a language in order to create like a universal language. It's fascinating stuff, and I've always wanted to read her fiction book called Native Tongue that has this invented language in it. So I'm super excited. And it's such a nice copy of it. It's so much better than the one that I got rid of. Like, the cover is so nice, and this is just a nice little paperback, and it's nice to hold. I don't know much about the story behind this. I know it's sci-fi, I know it's set in the future, and I know it has an invented language in it, and that's all that I know about it. That's like literally my expectation when I go into this. So I'm hoping to keep it that way. I don't want to read any more like what it's about, because I just want to like have that low expectation, I guess. So that way I don't hate it. Next, the last two that I have after this one is like a set. It's so cute. The person left me a little note with a little doodle on it. I love Pango. I think it's so cute, especially when book lovers like sell you books. Okay, it's another play. Sorry if this is uninteresting, but I like plays. I like reading plays. This is another play called The House of Blue Leaves by John Guerre. And this is another play that I know was produced when I was in college theater. And I remember seeing it, and I remember being like really in awe of our production. Like, it was so moving, and like it's a dramatic. I think it's a tragedy. There's a name for the type of music that's in this play, but it's basically like it's playing as like a soundtrack, but also playing in the scene itself. It's supposed to be a drama. I'm excited to read it again because I kind of want to read it as in it like with more adult, mature eyes, and maybe like, I don't know, do something with it for my classes, maybe, if I like it, if the context is good, if it's not too mature or too lofty. I'm glad to have this because I've literally never seen a copy of it, so I'm kind of excited. Now we get into the last two packages, which I'm so excited for because I know what these are. I do remember these packages that I bought. This is another series that I ordered that I've already read, and I ordered it specifically so I could have a copy of the entire series on my shelf because I love this series so much, and it's a young adult junior fiction series. So I know it's something that I can share with my kid as she grows up, hopefully. Hopefully she likes to read like her mom. But even if she doesn't, I will enjoy rereading this as well. Comes in this cool, wow, nice little box that they repurposed. Oh, and they gave me a little thank you note. That's so cute. This one should be the first one in the series. Yes, and it's the hardcover. There's a couple of scratches on it, but it's so gorgeous. I had a copy of this several years ago when it first came out as a paperback, and I got rid of it. Again, why am I getting rid of books? Why do I do that? Future Brenna, do not get rid of your books. Don't do it. This is The Search for Wandla by Toni Dieterlizzi. This book, when it first came out, was so cool. It's a shame that it doesn't function anymore, but this book came out with like a web scavenger hunt thing. Like you would open to a certain page and show like the code to your webcam, and it would open like a game or like a digital like map or something of the world. It was so cool. It was so ingenious. And now you have to like download Adobe Flash or like use some special coding stuff to find it again. And I'm like super depressed. That was one of like the cool, I think, features of this series. The series itself is also really great. Posed from that, this is still a really great series. This is about a girl named, I'm sorry, why did I just forget her name? Eva. This is about a girl named Eva who has been raised in an underground bunker for her entire life. And she's been raised by a robot, an AI robot named Merthyr. In the beginning of this first book in the series, her underground bunker is attacked by this villain who's searching for her, so she has to escape. And she's like astounded when she gets up there because all of her training, everything that they've taught her down in the bunker about what the surface is like is wrong. It's just completely different when she gets up there, and she's kind of like doesn't know what to do. She makes some friends though. There are beings that are living on the surface of this planet, and she's just trying to figure out like, you know, if she was down there and they taught her all this stuff about where she lived, why is it not true? And who was the person who created all of it? And why is she the only type of, like, why is she the only human being that she comes across on the surface? All the other surface dwelling creatures are aliens basically, or just not human beings. And so she's trying to find more people like her in this first book and trying to figure out like where she is and what's going on. And it's so cute and just like such a fun little adventure story. And I got the first and I got the second too because I just finished the series last year, and I think that's what this is. This big package that I have, I think, is gonna be the other two that I ordered. I love it. I love unboxing books. I love unwrapping them. Yay! Look at how nice it's packaged. Look at that. Unfortunately, because I got these from two different sellers, I think the first copy is gonna look a little different. Yeah, it looks different. But that's okay. I'm kind of okay with it. I'm not super mad about it. I mean, this is very clearly just a different edition. The paperback version that I had of this was similar to these two, but like a paperback version of these, which is fine. This looks cool. It still is really neat. It's still, you can tell it's a cohesive series still. I think that this one must have been published before the rest of the series because it doesn't have the little book one marker on it. But anyway, the second book is called A Hero for Wandla, and the story continues with Eva as she meets more beings that are dwelling on the surface of this planet. She like goes into this colony that's very different than her life that she had in the bunker, very different from what she was expecting life to be on the surface. There's like deception and just crazy stuff happening. I absolutely love the series. I think the whole thing is just very like well put together, well written. Third book is the battle for Wandla, the final book in the series. And this is definitely a series I would reread. Okay, I opened all my packages. That's all the books I've bought this year. That's a lot of books to buy. Anyway, thank you for watching my book haul. I hope you enjoyed. If you liked this, I will do more of it in the future, so please subscribe. I talk about all different kinds of things, stuff I'm reading, stuff I'm listening to, stuff I'm watching, movies, musicals, TV shows, games, video games, all of it, including books. So if that's your vibe, if you liked this, subscribe, consider liking it. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!